So, emotional presence is what I'm doing this video on today. It's my first video. Might do more, we'll see what happens, but I wanted to do one on emotional presence because I feel like it's very important with where we're headed and a lot of the things that people are going through right now, and engaging their emotions and engaging everything that's going on in their lives. So, first I want to talk about what presence is. And physical presence is pretty easy. Physical presence means you're physically where you are. You're physically in the room. I'm physically in this vehicle right now. And it's easy to disconnect physically. I would just leave. I could just leave this space and I wouldn't physically be here anymore. So then mental presence is if I'm paying attention to what's going on in this vehicle right now mentally, and if there was someone in this vehicle with me talking, if I was talking with them, I'd physically be here and I would be engaged in the conversation. If I'm physically here and then they're saying something and I'm thinking about something else, thinking about something that's going on at home or something that's happening with friends or something that's happening in the world, then I'm not I'm not mentally present anymore in the conversation. Physically I'm here, mentally I'm gone. Mentally I've disconnected. If it's something that I'm not comfortable talking about, let's say they, brought up something that I'm just not interested in talking about or I'm not comfortable, it's really easy to disconnect. I'll start thinking about something else. I'll think of things to reply to them before they're even done talking because I want to reject what they're saying. So there's a lot of ways to disconnect. There's a lot of ways to pull myself out. There's a lot of ways to lose my mental presence. So we have physical presence, mental presence, and emotional presence. Emotional presence is being present with the emotions that are coming up in your body at any given moment. And most of us it's really easy to be present with the lighter, the happier emotions, joy and happiness, and this feels good. And so most people are present in those. They're wanting to feel all of those. It's when you start getting into the heavier, stickier emotions that where it starts to feel uncomfortable for the most part, where most people want to disconnect. When you start feeling, that doesn't feel good. I'm just gonna go. I don't really, not really feeling this right now. Generally speaking, if you're in a conversation and somebody starts crying or somebody's sad or somebody gets angry or you're with someone that's depressed or any one of these, most people feel very uncomfortable being around because they're not comfortable with those emotions. And so if you're not comfortable with the emotions that another person is expressing, it's because you're not comfortable expressing those emotions when you feel them. So let's talk about anger. Anger is a very natural emotion that we feel. We can get angry about any number of things, or feel mad or feel angry about something. And so let's put anger on a scale of 1 to 10. And 1 is just like you're just a little bit annoyed. And 2 to 10, like 10, you're just raging. Most people, pretty comfortable with 1, 2, 3. You start getting a little bit deeper than that, and people just start, I gotta get away from this person. And it can tie in with physical. You're worried about your physical being harmed. But if you're in a situation where if you're not physically threatened, then the only reason why a person would want to disconnect out of that is because they're not comfortable with it emotionally. So this happens a lot in relationships. When you're in a relationship with someone and things are going well, but nobody's really expressing their emotions. They're just kind of pushing them down, which we do most of the time with our heavier, stickier emotions. We're just like, I don't want to feel that. Just push it down. Oh, I'm not going to feel that. And then it builds up till it gets to here. And then like there's some camel or some stick that breaks the camel's back and it lights that fire, and all of those emotions just explode out of you. And generally it's directed at the person you're closest to, an intimate partner, family members, whoever. Sometimes you'll express it at work. So when you're expressing those to someone, let's say it's an intimate partner, if they're not comfortable with the level at which you're expressing, they're going to disconnect, which means they will leave. They will fight back because they want to fight fire with fire, or they'll just totally disconnect. They'll be there physically, not really mentally, and definitely not emotionally. They've just totally disconnected from the experience, and they're just there, not even engaged. And when we disconnect, when we disconnect, we become a liability in the experience. It's like if you're driving a vehicle and you start crying and your emotions really start flowing, you become a liability on the road. You're not able to fully be present with your emotions and drive the vehicle at the same time in a safe manner. So you become a liability in that situation. Yeah, pull over. Go through your emotions, allow yourself to cry, allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling, and then once you've moved past it and you've self-soothed, then you're safe to drive again. The consequences aren't quite as dramatic in a argument. However, you're still a liability if you're not fully present and engaged in what the other people are saying, no matter their emotional expression. If someone is expressing to you how they're feeling, no matter how intense it gets, the greatest thing you can do is stay with it. Stay with it. Allow yourself to feel everything that's coming up. Allow yourself to feel everything that's coming towards you from the other person. Allow like their emotions, and that uncomfortableness is just like a fire that's burning everything out of you that's not really you. And you're becoming acclimatized to that level of emotional expression. Once you become acclimatized to every single level of emotional expression, then you're walking around the world not even worried about what's going to come into your experience, because you're okay with it. It doesn't matter who comes in and says stuff to you, or the situations that you're in. You will be present and able to handle whatever comes at you. So your partner comes to you with this, and he or she is feeling these, whatever they're feeling, and they can just emotionally express, and you are able to just sit there and be present with it, and really that's all they need. They're not looking for someone to fix them. They're not looking to be fixed. They're not looking for anything except for someone to just talk to in a safe space, to be able to unload their emotions and have it be okay. And we can start by doing that, start getting acclimatized by doing that for ourselves, and allowing any emotion that we're feeling to just come up and feel it fully, and just acclimatize to it. And you can talk to yourself and just say, it's okay. Whatever I'm feeling right now, it's okay. It's all right. It's okay how I'm feeling right now. And then you'll slowly start acclimatizing to this level of emotional expression that you're having. If I'm used to myself expressing anger at a 7 or 8, then people that come into my life that are expressing at a 7 or 8, I'm like, yeah, cool. All right. I've been there. I'll stay with you during this. Because sometimes they just need a place to unload, everyone needs a place where they feel held, where they can just fall apart and be safe. That's what we're all looking for. And when you start looking at this emotion of, or this emotion, yeah, this ocean of emotion that we're all working our way into, you can dip your toe in, dip your feet in. Eventually that bottom's going to give out. You're just going to have to learn how to swim. You can only dip your toes and sit there as you're going in with the water, and comes up to your knees, and eventually that bottom's going to fall out. And the bottom will fall out. The bottom falling out for most people is like a traumatic event happening in their life. Their partner leaves. Somebody in their family dies. They're in a car accident. Like something happens that where they hit a wall, and they're forced to, not really forced, I guess, but all of their emotions are then presented to them at one time. And generally it's all of the emotions that we've been holding down throughout our lives, because we've been taught not to feel for the most part. Most people have been, don't feel your emotions, hide those things. Your cooler heads prevail, and you're crazy if you've gone off the deep end, and whatever it is that people talk about their emotions. And then that's where stress comes from. Like, stress is the energy of the effort you're putting into holding back your emotions. And that takes a lot of energy to hold all of those emotions back, especially when you have to build all these structures to help keep people out and keep yourself safe. And I say safe in a way of like that most people don't want to feel their emotions because they don't feel safe feeling them. And then we drink a little bit, or something comes into our life and triggers us a little bit, and all these structures kind of just dissolve, and all of a sudden there our emotions are this tsunami of emotions that are like hitting us, and you're like, whoa, this is crazy. Try to hold them all back. Let's put these structures back up and just let them flow. Let them flow. Let them flow, and as you let them flow, you'll become acclimatized to them. And when you're no longer making yourself wrong for the emotions that you're feeling, then you won't be storing them down anymore. They'll just be flowing through you, and then there won't be a big backlog. When you're feeling stuff, it'll just be quick. They'll just flow through you really fast. So, yeah. Thank you for listening. Maybe. Appreciate. Yeah. If there's anything else, if anybody has any questions about that, about what I've talked about, you can leave me comments or contact me on Facebook or give me a call. I'm always willing to talk about this stuff. This is the space that I love to work in, to help people with, to engage in their emotions, because I've experienced how much it has helped me and how much freedom it's given me when I've engaged my emotions, every single one of them. So, yeah. Okay, thanks guys. Talk to you later. Thanks guys. Talk to you guys later. Talk to everyone later. Talk to everyone later. Have a great day. I hope to hear from you. It is really, really amazing how much freedom we have when we start engaging all of our emotions. How much more beautiful life gets. Because when you start engaging all your emotions, that's when time just slows down. as we go through life, a lot of us can go through life not wanting to, not engaging our feelings and always like trying to get to that, like trying to get to another place, trying to get, oh, gotta get here, gotta do this, and not engaging like a lot of the emotions that are coming up around it, around our lives. And so we're almost like time traveling. So we're at home, oh, and then we're journeying somewhere. Now we're at work, and then we're not present emotionally or physically in that drive, and so that time kind of disappears, and that's why we feel our lives, we run out of so much time, because we're not present. We're somewhere else. So the more you start engaging your emotions, time just slows down. It still goes at the same speed, but it feels like it slows down because the amount of experience that you're experiencing is huge. So a day feels like a week, but it was just a day. But it's so full of depth and novelties of sensation and emotion, and it's just amazing. And your relationships with people that are in your lives will just get better and better. My relationship with my daughter has gotten 1,000 times better. She's feeling more, I'm leading her into feeling more, and I'm feeling more, and our relationships has just gotten so much better. It's awesome. My relationships with my friends and people that I talk to has gotten so much better. And then as you start having emotional presence and you're balancing your physical, mental, emotional presence, the people you start attracting to your life will just naturally meet you at that place because you're holding that space. And then you're connecting deeper with those people. And then life just gets amazing.